Here's what I can tell you about letting go. It's not always easy. Okay, so that is the spiritual answer about letting go. So let's dig a little deeper than the spiritual sounding answer. Here's what I've learned about letting go in this past year. It's really, really difficult. Can be really, really difficult. In the past year, I've been gifted with the opportunity to let go of two of my closest friends, my concept of what health means, how I handle myself in relationship, my image of what the perfect minister looks like, some clothes, some books, a bunch of other stuff, and a whole lot of my past. I actually thought that sharing a talk on letting go was a great idea. I said to somebody a couple weeks ago, I'm like, oh, the letting go talk, it's going to be a breeze. That talk's going to practically write itself. I don't even have to show up for it. Yeah, so then yesterday afternoon at about 3:30, I was overwhelmed. I was still at work. I was still needing to do things on my to-do list, and the talk was not written. And I had a complete meltdown. And I realized why I had a complete meltdown. I was holding on to everything. I was holding on to how I wanted things to be going. I was holding on to a belief that somehow I had squandered my time. So I was holding on to punishing myself about how much I'd squandered my time when I actually hadn't squandered it. I was holding on to what my plan was for the day, which wasn't what was happening, but I was holding on to it because it was my plan. And I was holding on to my to-do list, which seemed so important. And I was holding on to everything except what was happening right in front of my face. And I was suffering because of it. And then I looked back at all of my notes and what I had written for today, and I threw most of it out. It was very pithy. It was very clever. It was witty. And it had nothing to do with what I was going through yesterday, which was let go. Let go. So I started over and, in the spirit of letting go, hit the save button with an OCD obsession that I have rarely seen in anyone else. I'm like, well, I can't let go of that. So, but here's what I have learned recently and was explaining to somebody the other day, is that inside of us, we have a lot of muscles, and we work those muscles. When we exercise, we're working out our muscles. We're strengthening our muscles. And within us, we have a letting go muscle. And like all of the other muscles in our body, if we don't work it, it's inactive, and it doesn't know what to do. And so it's like a muscle, or it's like a skill. Either one of those. You need to practice. You need to use it. So we start from where we are. If I want to learn how to play piano and I don't know, I start by playing chopsticks. Or I start letting go by releasing a teeny tiny negative thought that I have. Not a huge one, not the massive big ones, but just a little one, like, oh, it's going to be a bad day. Oh, okay, let go of that little tiny thought. We start small, and we build up our skills, and we build up our muscles. And it's not something that we do well from day one. I can't run a marathon today. Okay, the truth is I'll never be able to run a marathon, but just in reference to the talk, I can't run a marathon today. I can't play the violin today. However, if I want to be free, and if I want to stop suffering, and if I'm willing to step into the space of courage, I can, with practice, become strong and able to use my letting go muscle to be able to let go more and more. And I totally understand that life, and when I say life, I'm meaning like the day-to-day living Tupperware suits that we wear, this everyday thing, doesn't always operate with our desired pace of learning. Heather was teaching my niece how to drive, and it was crazy because she's like, but I just want to know how. It's like, well, but you haven't done it before. And it's kind of like me with algebra. I just want to know it. I don't want to have to learn it. I want to know it. And so life doesn't always cooperate with what we have in our hearts as our pace of learning. And so sometimes big tests or big recitals or big marathons will come when we're not fully trained yet. And yet it's happening. And we're there. And so Those are the moments when we get to learn how to strengthen our be gentle with ourself muscle, how we learn how to talk differently to ourselves, how to let ourselves off the hook. And to be honest, haven't mastered the be gentle with myself thing. Within me is like the Louis Gossett Jr. character from Officer and a Gentleman. It's like this big, giant boot camp sergeant who's going, "Come on, Hollander, let go. What's wrong with you? Do you have an attachment or something? Now drop and release." Not helpful for self-talk, this little drill sergeant. The thing is that sometimes the fear of letting go is more powerful than the suffering we're experiencing by holding on. And I actually wrote that down to say twice, so I'm going to say it again. Sometimes the fear of letting go is more powerful than the suffering we're experiencing by holding on. So, out of the gazillion slides that I narrowed down, I found this one. Some of us think holding on makes us strong, but sometimes it's letting go. Sometimes it can feel like holding on. We're holding on to our lifeline. It's all we've got. It's all we know to keep us falling into some deep, dark abyss in our mind. We think that we're going to fall into this deep, dark abyss. So we're holding on, and our hands are cramping, and they're burning, and it's hurting, but we cannot let go because we don't know what we're letting go into. And it's scary, and it hurts, and it's painful, and we're constricted. And as Heather would say in a moment like that, "So, how's that working for you?" There was this man who was climbing, and he fell off a cliff, but he managed to grab a tree on his way down the cliff. Some of you are already going to know this one. And he's hanging there, and he says, "Is anyone up there?" And he hears a voice that says, "I am here. I am the Lord. Do you believe me?" And the man says, "Yes, Lord, I believe. I really believe, but I can't hang on to this tree much longer." And the voice says, "If you really believe, you'll be all right. I will save you. Just let go of the branch." And the climber paused for a moment and then yelled, "Is there anyone else up there?" The other version I've heard of that story is that the climber, the spirit guides the climber to let go, and the climber's gripping and gripping and gripping, and he's doubting, and he's not sure, and he's stubborn, and so he's hanging there, and he's hanging by the branch all night through the darkness, and finally just relaxes and surrenders the grip and drops 2 feet to the ground because it was so dark he couldn't see. So it seems like this is almost more about trust. Sometimes the letting go is more about trust. Satish Kumar wrote, "As a seed is capable of becoming a tree, all human beings are also capable of realizing their own full potential. In order for the seed to become a tree, it must be planted in the soil, underground, in the dark, and almost forgotten. In relationship with the earth, the seed surrenders its separateness, its identity. In the same way, we human beings have to let go of our pride, our separateness." Okay, so trust is a large piece of letting go. Okay, so what do I trust? I trust that the universe is conspiring for my good. I trust that my friends and family love me and will answer my call for support. I trust that the bridge that I can't see across the chasm that I can see will appear when I need it to, just like in the third Indiana Jones movie, when he takes a step of faith and boom, there's the bridge. And I trust the wisdom and guidance and knowing that is larger than myself. I call it God, the big kahuna, my buddy, whatever we want to call it. And so many people have experienced this ultimate trust fall. The one that is this invisible safety net of spirit, or whatever it is that's larger than us. And we can learn from them. Debbie Ford wrote this, which I thought was great. "We need the faith that we are being divinely guided to let go, to surrender. Unbound by time and space, the great sages of every tradition invite us into this sanctuary of surrender. Through their poetry and prose, they remind us that we can know in our hearts the deeper truths that our minds too often struggle to reconcile and understand. And I can tell you how true this is. A topic as big as letting go could be like 5 talks. There was so much to pull from. And what I will say in reference to this is, for the record, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle's book, chapter 10, The Meaning of Surrender, is by far the best 24 pages I have ever read on surrendering and letting go. One quote is, okay, all right, let's take a deep breath. Surrender does not transform what is, at least not directly. Surrender transforms you. When you are transformed, your whole world is transformed because the world is only a reflection. Yeah, I know. We are transformed. We are transformed. So do you know what this means to me? I'll tell you. It means that if I let go, of whatever is happening to me that has caused me pain, I am not saying that it's okay or that I'm complicit with it. I am saying that I am okay. It's a little funky distinction, but do you see it? I am saying that I am ready to stop dragging around a 70-pound garbage bag of crap. I am ready to say that I am rising above it. I am seeing life from the helicopter view, from the high watch. And from that vantage point, I can release my grip. So again, I'm not saying what happened was okay, or that I was part of it, or that I think it's fab. I'm saying I am okay. So, I'm telling you, I narrowed down, but I couldn't help. The hardest thing to do is letting go, not because you want to, but because you have to. So, great. So we know we need to let go. We know letting go will help us. We know that it will enhance our lives and expand us. We get how important this whole thing is. Great. So now that we know that, we can just let go of stuff, right? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I know. So that's not supposed to be there. So we'll get back to that one. In the magnificent movie Longtime Companion, there's this scene where Bruce Davison's character is sitting with his life partner who's dying. And his partner is struggling, and he's grasping for breath, and his body is tense. And Bruce Davison's character sits with him and says, "Let go. It's all right. You can let go now." And what I love about this scene is that it runs for an uncomfortably long time. Like there's a moment where you're going, this is strangely uncomfortable. And he goes from being gentle and loving, let go, it's all right, to almost demanding it. At one point he's like, let go. Like he gets strong with him because he sees his partner is struggling to hold on. And there's no reason to. There's no reason to. So through his own tears and through his partner's fears and through the grief of the whole thing, he's clear that letting go has to happen. And still, maybe part of the resistance to letting go is because the situation is not playing out the way we want it to. The situation is not playing out the way we would choose to, so we don't want to let go of it. Control. Control. So I forgot to include this one, but I really do like it. You'll find that it is necessary to let things go simply for the reason that they are heavy. We're carrying stuff. We don't have to. And yet it's our desire to make sure that we are running things the way they should be. So, are you ready? Because here comes the slide that... Okay. So at the end of Life of Pi, which is devastating, the adult Pi's reflection on what made his ordeal so painful is clarified in these two quotes. He says, "It's important in life to conclude things properly. Only then can you let go. Otherwise, you're left with words you should have said but never did, and your heart is heavy with remorse. I suppose in the end, the whole of life becomes an act of letting go. But what always hurts the most is not taking a moment to say goodbye. Sometimes we don't have that option. Sometimes it's just let go. From the age of 12, life for me has very much been an act of letting go. And here's my confession to you all. It's not a skill that I've done really well with. If you saw the house going through my stuff, you would know. And so because that muscle hasn't been worked, that skill hasn't been practiced, what happens? The universe has lined up work for me. The universe has made sure that I get practice. And I am agreeing to continue to show up. Because I want to. So here's another thought to throw into this mix. So what if letting go, changing gears here a little bit, what if letting go is going to cause hurt to another human being? What if your letting go is going to injure someone? How do we move through the experience with grace? The key word is compassion. Sometimes life provides us with stuff that we simply could not have predicted. We get hurt, we hurt others, we make choices that impact those we love. We yearn for it to be different for ourselves and for those who are hurting. And I will tell you this, letting go of yearning is a huge endeavor. We may yearn for a person to love. We may yearn for a person to love us. We may yearn for a person to love us again. For someone to return from far away, or even to return to life. Yearning for our lives to be different, to be what they were, to be what they never were. What was, what wasn't, what could have been, what could be. Oh my goodness, stop. Let it go. Learning to accept our decisions and the consequences of those decisions is part of the letting go process. And it is essential that we learn to have compassion for ourselves, for those we may have hurt, and for those who have hurt us. One of my classmates from One Spirit sent me this when I was working on this talk. Just let go. Let go of how you thought your life should be and embrace the life that is trying to work its way into your consciousness. And again, from chapter 10 of Power of Now, you cannot truly forgive yourself or others as long as you derive your sense of self from the past. Only through accessing the power of now renders the past powerless. So with that in mind, I have been purging my past. This has been an ongoing process for about 4 years, and with each new purge, I actually discover just how much more of the things that I have that I simply don't need. I found my script from Sound of Music when I was 15 years old. Why do I have that? And it's healthy. It's healthy to get rid of the someday I'll be thin enough to wear this again clothes. Let them go. Our history, letters, journals, photos, things, if they no longer serve us now, and stuff we're just not using anymore. Someone else might really want that movie or that book or that toy or that sweater. However, the universe abhors a vacuum. So when we let go, we're making space for other things. And we need to fill that space with good stuff. When we moved to California, we moved into a very, very, very small house. And I had these boxes of CDs, and there was nowhere to put them. And so we got a little hard drive, and we downloaded all the CDs onto the hard drive, and then I toted the CDs down to the store where I could exchange them or get rid of them, and discovered, okay, so I filled the void with the entire series of Lost. But it was smaller than the CDs I had. I mean, I had like boxes of CDs. This is just 7, things. But the point is, I filled the physical vacuum of the CDs with something that I wanted, something that served me, something that I've used and utilized and watch obsessively. So the key in letting go is realizing that this vacuum we've created must be filled, because the universe is going to fill it, whether we do or not. And I've learned from many spiritual teachers that emptying ourselves, the letting go, is just the first part of the process. The second part of the process is, now, what do I refill with? And so I was going to say you want to, but I don't know if you want to. The higher choice is to fill it with peace, love, abundance, clarity, adventure, lost DVDs. Whatever it is that is filling you and making your life better. And the thing is, we need to be clear without being specific. Like, okay, I've created this void. Okay, now universe, I want the house on the corner of such and such a street that's blue, and I want this red car. Let's not micromanage the universe. It raises the sun and raises the moon and revolves the planet without our help. So let's take for granted that it's conspiring for our good, and be clear about good and abundance and adventure and love and peace to fill that void. So we need to choose well. Lao Tzu teaches, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. So I'm going to close the talk with a potential practice for you and an affirmation. So right now, we're going to do an experiment. Take a deep breath and release it. Now, take that same breath again. The breath that you just took, the same exact one. Not a new breath. Take the breath you just took. See how that works? So we can't. And yet we inhaled and we exhaled with effortless ease. I didn't inhale and go, oh, I really like this breath. I'm going to hold on to this one. This is a good breath. I inhaled, I exhaled. I've done it a couple more times since then, effortlessly. It's the same thing with life's moments. So this is an affirmation that I actually shared with a friend recently. And I said that I effortlessly let go of the moment before this one. I didn't even give it a second thought. That moment happened and I let it go. So now this moment, which might carry more pain, or might have a charge, or might have something attached to it, is just another moment like the one I let go a moment ago. It's just like all the others. And if I can let go of those moments, I can let go of this moment. I've done it before. I can do it again. We're going to pray. So just taking this moment, to breathe in and breathe out, recognizing again that we're letting go each time we exhale. We're letting go. We're strengthening the letting go muscle by simply breathing, by simply not attaching to what happened a minute ago. And so if we can do that with the small things, then it just takes practice to do it with the larger things. And so right now I hold in prayer all those who have reached out. I hold in prayer everyone here in this room, and everyone in consciousness, and everyone who might listen to this talk at some point, to know that everyone is letting go of something at some point in their lives. In every moment, we're holding, we're releasing, we're holding, releasing. And so I invite myself and anyone else who is carrying heavy stuff, I invite us to let it go, to put it down. If it's not helping, if it's not healing us, if it's not healing the world, if it's not supporting the growth of our own spiritual life or the love and the life of others, put it down. Allow it to go. Worries, thoughts, health concerns, relationship concerns, money, life in general, it's happening all the time. Holding on tight with the grip of death is not going to make it easier. And so I invite each of us to just loosen that grip a little bit. I remind myself, as I remind each one here and each one in consciousness, that as I let go of what I am, I become who I might be. As I let go, I make more room for good, for life, for light, for love. I create a space for spirit to do magnificent things. And so that is the prayer today. Holding all those who are with me on this path, learning how to do this, strengthening this muscle, I hold all of us together in light. And I just say, let's keep walking. Let's keep walking. Knowing that we are cared for and loved and supported, I simply let this be with gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. I say, Amen.